guys, Blossom here. Today I'm going to show you a butter chicken recipe. Now this is not an original recipe. It's a cheat recipe because I'm in a hurry. I want to finish cooking as quick as possible. So when I went visiting India, my mother-in-law, she showed me this butter chicken masala recipe packet, and then she said, you know what, I tried this, Blossom, you should make it. It's actually very good. I'm not in favor for ready-made masalas or powders, but then I thought, okay, if my mother-in-law says it, then I should try because she's a person who likes to make everything from scratch. So I'm going to try this recipe and I'll let you know what my thoughts are. In fact, it will not be me because I don't eat chicken, but my children will let me know whether it was actually good or not. It's not going to be the recipe which is written on the back of the card. You know, the recipe card, they have a recipe mentioned here. I'm not going to use that. It's going to be my own take on it, but I'll use this powder to make the butter chicken recipe. So I've got 1 kilo of chicken here, which is cut into small pieces. Normally butter chicken, the pieces are a little big. This is the size of the chicken piece that I've got cut. I'm going to marinate it for like 10 minutes. Chili powder, turmeric, some garam masala, and salt. Salt as per taste. Now mix it and let this marinate for 10 minutes. Because it's boneless chicken, it doesn't need a lot of marination time. See, this is where I differ from the other recipes, because people say marinate it for half an hour, 1 hour, the longer the better. But from my experience, it doesn't really matter for boneless chicken. If it was bone chicken, yes, I would have suggested marinate it at least for half an hour. So this is what I'll do first. And then while this is getting marinated, I prep for the chicken. Like I'll chop the onions, I'll crush the ginger and garlic. While that's all being done, this gets marinated. So you don't have to wait thinking, oh my god, I don't have time to marinate the chicken. Actually, while you're prepping for it, this chicken is getting marinated in the masala, so you don't have to worry about it. Since I'm going to crush ginger and garlic, I thought I'll talk a little bit about this. Normally, I do not like to use ready-made ginger garlic paste because it has a lot of vinegar in it, too much of salt, and it spoils the recipe. Unless and until I'm in a hurry and I want to finish my work, I use ready-made. Otherwise, I always crush it in a mortar and pestle. And trust me, the taste of food gets enhanced. Just a random amount of garlic because I'm using 1 kilo boneless chicken. I've taken around 10 pods of garlic. And butter chicken, I feel chicken tastes better when you have more garlic and less ginger. So you can see there's lesser ginger when comparatively you look at the amount of garlic I've used. And if you see below, I've added a little salt. It's because it helps to bring out the moisture and it gets easier to crush the ginger and garlic. And then I'll be putting a few chilies as well because that's again another secret ingredient that I put in my ginger garlic paste. I've caught the mortar and pestle in my hands. It's not that heavy, though it's made of rocks, but I do this because we stay in an apartment. So there are people living downstairs, and if I pound it on this table or on the floor, it'll create a lot of noise. So I prefer to do this, and it does a good job. I don't have any problem. It's already crushed, as you can see. You can use a spoon and to move it around so that you can crush everything. And now I'll crush the green chilies as well. Added the green chilies and I'm pounding that as well. It's not going to become a complete paste, but crushed is better than paste. Once you do it, you'll know. Now I'm going to add some oil. Yes, I know butter chicken calls for butter, but I don't put a lot of butter because it gets lost. I don't think you get the taste of butter as much as if you put it in the start itself. Just make it with normal oil. I've just used 1 tablespoon or 1.5 tablespoon of oil here, and I'll be putting the ginger garlic into it. Another advantage of using homemade or crushed ginger garlic paste is, if you've noticed, when you put it in oil, if you're buying ready-made ginger garlic paste or the ginger garlic paste that you put in the mixie and you ground, a lot of water comes out, and when you put it in the oil, it splutters so much. I always used to get burned. But now I put it in the oil, hardly a little moisture is there, and I'm not getting burned. I'm fine. That's another good thing if you do it. And you don't have to bother about, the paste getting spoiled and putting preservatives if you make it in large quantity. Make it fresh and it's good to go. Now the ginger garlic has kind of, they've stopped giving that pungent aroma. You should always remember, don't try to brown it completely because it's going to continue getting fried with the onions as well. So if you fry it in advance, then it'll only get burnt and it'll taste very bad. It'll give a very bad aftertaste. So I don't fry it completely, and I put the onions. Doesn't have to get completely brown or anything, just it should cook. So now the onions and the ginger garlic has browned enough, at least for my liking. At this stage, I'm just going to put turmeric powder and a little bit of chili powder, and I'm going to grind it into a paste once it's cooled down. Now why I'm doing that is because I have tomato paste already. In case you don't have tomato paste, you can just chop 2 or 3 tomatoes based on how tart or how sour or sweet it is. So if it's very sweet, put lesser tomatoes, because butter chicken, even though it is on the sweeter side, the more you put it, it becomes very potent. So I'm not doing that. As I said, I already have tomato paste which is ready made. So I'm just going to put some turmeric. And what I do is I cook the turmeric a little bit. This is another tip I got from another YouTuber. She said that turmeric should be cooked a little bit, like fried in the oil, so it enhances the taste. So in my recipes, you'll always see that I always fry the turmeric separately before I could put the rest of the spices like coriander powder or chili powder. And then I'm going to add chili powder. Chili powder according to your taste. I will never tell you how much chili powder I put because you might not want that much pungent taste of the chili powder. You don't want it that spicy, put less. And this is homemade garam masala, which my mother-in-law has taught me. Saute it, and I put the stove off now, and with the residual heat from the stove top, it will continue cooking and it won't get burnt. If you're putting tomatoes, now you put the tomatoes, cook it with the lid on till it becomes a soft pulp, and then cool it and make it a paste. Now I'm not doing that because I have ready-made paste, as I told you. I'm just going to add it. The stove's off already. I'm just going to add the tomato paste and let this mixture cool down. The base for the gravy is already ready. While it's cooling down, we'll come back to the chicken. So now the chicken has got marinated while the gravy base was getting ready. After that, I don't immediately add corn flour while it's getting marinated. I do it just before I start cooking it. So you'll know how much water is required, or is there a lot of water that's come out. The reason why I'm adding corn flour is because if I don't, my children say that the chicken becomes very rubbery. It loses all its moisture. So if I coat it with a little corn flour, the moisture in the chicken is retained and it's not chewy at the end. So that's another trick. So now in the same pan, I'm going to add some oil. Normally in butter chicken, they make butter chicken with leftover tandoori chicken pieces. Now we don't have that. So how do we create that? By marinating it separately and just saute it in a little oil, and once that's done, put it into the gravy. So it feels like a lengthy process, but the end product is very delicious. Now the oil is hot, so I'm going to add, don't put the chicken before the oil gets hot because all the water or moisture in the chicken is just going to come off. Put it only when it's hot enough so that the moisture does not get released into the oil. Now the chicken is already got cooked because the color of the chicken has changed, and anyways in the gravy we're going to cook it even more. So this I did, as I said earlier, just to keep the moisture intact while it's in the gravy. And now in another pan, it looks like it's having a lot of oil. Yes, it's a very, very rich dish. You can't eat this every day, but when you're making special things, you can make it. So this is a little bit of oil, and in this oil I'm going to add 2 bay leaves, around 3 to 4 cloves, 3 small cardamom pods, 1.5 inch of cinnamon stick. Just saute it a little bit so that the oils come out. Add the pureed mixture. Oh, it smells delicious. Stir it quickly because it's already cooked. You don't have to cook this, but just let it mix up with the oil. And wash this mixie jar with some water and add that water too, so that you'll get some more gravy. So I've washed the mixie jar, added the water. It's just plain water, not hot water. The gravy is now bubbling and a little bit of oil is already showing through. This mixture was already cooked, so you don't have to cook it a lot. Now I'm adding the partially cooked chicken into the gravy. And this is where it starts. It cooks completely. Now we are adding dried fenugreek leaves or methi leaves. Now this is what gives it the distinctive flavor to butter chicken. Just rub it between your palms and sprinkle it. Pour some cooking cream. If you don't want cooking cream or you don't have cooking cream, you can add milk or coconut milk. It's up to you. This recipe is actually done. You can stop here. So you just mix a little water, make it into a paste, the contents of the masala packet. And I've done that. And now I'm going to mix it into this. I don't think it makes a lot of difference because what I've made itself, by itself, is good enough. But because I told you about it, I thought, okay, let's add to it. That's it, you guys. The recipe is ready. You can eat it with hot parathas, with rice. Have a nice day. I hope you like this recipe. Please do let me know in the comments if you've tried it. And till the next time, bye.